Well, I must admit I didn't see this coming at all, and I didn't think that I would be making this kind of video at this stage, which would have been after the Arnold Classic. This would be a week after the Arnold Classic. So the Arnold Classic didn't go ahead, as you guys know. There was no pro show. They were still able to manage to do a amateur show and give out pro cards. So there was a pro qualifier still, so Arnold Classic pro qualifier, but no pro show, no exhibition and all that, which was all due to everything that you guys are seeing all day, every day at the moment, which is this coronavirus, which is, yeah, what can you say? What can you do? It's something that obviously nobody really thought would happen. After I saw the Arnold Classic in Ohio, that they cancelled everything, but they kept the pro show and they just had no crowd. I thought worst case scenario, that's what was going to happen, and that's what I was prepared for in Australia, which really didn't bother me because I still would have been able to make my pro debut. It would have been obviously just in front of a very limited crowd and just the judges, but I still would have been able to do everything that I would have done regardless. It just would have been a normal prep. I would have peaked for it. So that was kind of in my mind the worst case scenario. And then literally a week before the show, then we were hit with this whole, all of the travel bans, airports were starting to shut down. So we could foresee that there was going to be a whole bunch of issues, which was going to be in front of all of the pro athletes, which were traveling from all different parts of the world to come to Australia to compete. So Tony Doherty, the IFBB Pro League Australia, had to make a decision, and that decision was to call off the pro show. So that was really a knockout blow, I must say. I was shocked when it first happened. I just thought, no, it kind of can't be happening like this. To be a week out from a show, and at that stage, it just really seemed like everything was going to go ahead in terms of having a small crowd or just having the judges. So, like I said, that was kind of the worst case scenario that was set up in my head. And then for it to not go ahead at all and be told that the pro show was completely cancelled, it took a couple of days for that to sink in, because I've never done a prep before where it's been this perfect. Everything's gone to plan. I've looked, better than I expected that I would look. So in my head, every night before bed, doing cardio, posing, all these things, all I was thinking about was this one day that that I would be peaking for. And everything just was going absolutely perfectly. But it is what it is. Obviously so much of this stuff is just out of anybody's control. It's like each day now there's just something more, restrictions come in. There's less and less things that we're able to do. But it's just the timing was obviously terrible for it to happen literally a week before I made my pro debut. So getting past that, as I said, with my circle of people that are around me, being able to talk to them, and just that reassurance that we did everything that we could. The package that we brought would have been, the package that we were going to bring would have been fantastic. It would have been a hell of a pro debut for me in terms of just the improvements that I made on last year. So I reassuring myself that, everything that I did was perfect. I was happy with what I did. So now all I have to do is do that again next year. I think trying to plan anything now, even up until the end of the year, I think is going to be a little bit silly, because it looks as if they're just calling everything off. As soon as it's getting close to events, they're calling them off. So I'm pretty sure now all I want to do is just shut it all down and get ready for next year. So, and plus we've got a baby on the way, which is literally going to be this week or next week. So, I can switch gears now, switch off, and just be like, now different priorities, the family, baby, more exciting things, which has kind of really been good for me and healthy to be able to switch off from thinking about, what should have, would have been with a pro debut. So looking at all of the positives now, going to make these same improvements again that I made this year. Aaron and I now know, a really good formula, what works for me in terms of what we did with the carbohydrates, with the food, all those last little tips and tricks. So the off season that I did last year, getting ready for this show, just going to replicate the same thing. A whole bunch of food, training hard, consistency, stick to the basics, and just do it all over again. And hopefully this time I'm going to have a much better result. But I have had so much support from everybody, because I think anyone that's in the bodybuilding scene, and even people that aren't, just friends of mine and people that are close to me that see the sacrifices that go into getting ready for a bodybuilding show, the early mornings, the late nights, and my coach, Aaron, my best friend, is kind of with me a couple of times a day. We're looking, we're assessing, we're changing things. So it's really, it really is such a consuming process to get ready for a bodybuilding show, especially if you're getting in like the best shape as well. You're getting really lean, and a lot of people know the toll that takes kind of on your body, and just how much effort goes into this whole process. So it is a shame. It is a big shame that I shouldn't say that I feel like I've let people down close to me, because there's nothing that I can do about it. I can't say that I've let Aaron down, or let my partner Stacey down, or let my posing coach Johnny down, because really is completely out of my control. But I do feel bad in a way that I know how much effort and work that they put into me, and now to kind of get to the end of it and not have anything to really show for, or any stage to stand on, was it was definitely an anticlimax, I could say. But moving forward, like I said, I'll be back in the gym training again soon. I've taken some time off now just to let my body rest and recover. And then I think I'm going to be a dad soon. So it's going to be another whole bunch of challenges coming up for me that's got nothing to do with bodybuilding. So when I do get some free time, I'll be back in the gym again. But I've just got much more important things to worry about until then. But a really big thank you to everyone that supported me as well. Like after they found out that the show was cancelled, I got so many messages from people wishing me well, making sure that I was in good spirits. So it's been phenomenal, the amount of support that I've got from everybody. And a big shout out to Tony Doherty as well, which literally the day before, the day of the Arnold Pro Qualifier, I decided that I was going to guest pose. We did speak about it in the week leading up, but with everything that was going on, I just thought that it was called off. So the day before the Pro Qualifier, I was kind of just eating. I went out and had a few burgers. I had some sushi. I just ate kind of whatever I wanted. And then the morning of the Pro Qualifier, I called Tony and asked him if it was still okay if I guest posed. And he said, yes, I just needed to get there straight away. I literally had to leave my house. It was like an hour to get to the venue. Got there, tanned, pumped up, and was straight on stage for a guest pose. So that in itself, I was just happy to be able to get on some kind of stage in front of people. He had the live stream, which was all around the world for people to watch. So being able to guest pose, and I was still in good shape, was really finished on a really good high for me. On top of that, the photos that you guys have probably seen circulating around, which Zen took of me. So we were here in my gym. We took a couple early morning posing sessions. He came, and it was more just like a fly on the wall type thing. Johnny, me, Aaron, Johnny, of course, being my posing coach. He was just going through the poses with me, and Zen was just taking some casual snaps, which turned out to be phenomenal. Some of those pictures are really, really cool. And then we got another lot of photos when I was which would have been the day of the Arnold. So I peaked kind of for a photo shoot. So I can't do much more than that. Now I can just use everything that I've done for this prep as a reference point to, what did work, what didn't work, how I looked certain days, doing certain things, eating certain foods, all that kind of stuff. And that's all in my books. It's all in my diaries. And next year I will look back at these and get into the same shape that I'm in now. So I was really, really happy that I was able to bring like a real kind of thinness to my skin, which I haven't had before. You know, I kept the size, but I was able to get that grainy kind of thin skin. And I put that down. I don't really put it down to a change in the diet, because the diet was pretty much the same as when I got my pro card. But I put that down to more just consistency again and muscle maturity. You know, each year it seems to be easier for me to get in shape, believe it or not. This prep was an absolute dream for me. You know, I wasn't doing hours and hours of cardio. I wasn't killing myself in the gym. I wasn't even killing myself in my diet. Like a low carb day for me was still, you know, like 300, maybe 350 grams of carbs. And a high day, I'd go anywhere up to between 600, 800. It really depended. And I'll just cycle my my carb days as I got leaner and closer to the show. So there's not really any complaints from me in terms of having to, you know, really string myself out on a diet. The more muscle each year that I put on, the more food that I need to eat. And that's probably been the biggest thing this contest prep, is just the amount of food that I've had to eat. I really wasn't expecting to be able to diet on this much food and get so much leanness. But I suppose now I know what it takes to be a pro. And even though I still haven't stood on a pro stage and be compared to IFBB pros, you guys can guarantee that I'll be back on stage next year. So with everything that I've learned this prep, I'll be applying all of that to next year. And a huge thank you to all of the Massive Joes fans and followers. As I said before, I've just had so much support from people. It's been really overwhelming and really, really nice. And I'm absolutely humbled to be able to have such normal and cool people in my corner. So it's very, very grounding to have people that are just honest and just want to see me do well, not try to feed me with bullshit, even though you really wouldn't be able to do that to me, because I don't have an ego, especially when it comes to this bodybuilding stuff. I'm very hard on myself, and I'm always just striving to be better. So I'll leave this little wrap-up video on what would have been kind of thing. But next year is obviously, I've got my sights set on that. And maybe the next video that I do for you guys, I might be a daddy to a little baby girl. So very, very exciting times ahead. So thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the videos, and I will see you in the next one.
Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the Massive Joes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.